which is very interesting because I've heard a quote that says, if a couple tells you that they don't fight, they either have no passion in their relationship or they're lying through their teeth. Well, you know what? Over the 10 years that we've been married, it's only been like 3 or 4 times when I've ever raised my voice towards my wife. So obviously they're few and very far between. So yes, we had a passionless marriage. But passionless in what sense? Because one time we were wondering if sex was the solution. If we would just improve in the sexual aspect, then everything would get better. So we ended up trying for 165 days straight to have sex and improve our sex life. We did that, okay? Literally, for 165 days straight, we had sex every single day. Could you imagine doing that just to figure it out? We were hardcore, taking every principle to the extreme to see if it worked. And did it work? Well, our sex got better. I improved, she improved, but there was something still missing. She still had a void. There was still issues in our relationship, and I still didn't feel that she loved me as much as I loved her. No problem is solved here until we figured it out. Blaming her and putting more burden on my wife was not the solution because that burdened her even more. Now, we learned eventually about masculinity and femininity. Yes, I was supposed to be masculine, but she was also supposed to be feminine. However, being feminine is something that you don't work towards, really. It is something that you return back to. And the times in your life when you're the most feminine is in your youth. Well, what happens in your youth? Well, guess what? You don't have any problems very often. Or your problems are very small and minuscule because you don't have to think about a lot. Like your parents are providing for you and you're cute and beautiful, so all the boys are liking you in your class, maybe. And there's basically everything just comes naturally to you and everyone's happy and it's all wonderful, right? Well, when you get married and you have 3 kids, you become burdened. I mean, this is like the worst part of your life, literally, because there's so much to do. There's so little energy to go around. You've got to give all of them attention. You've got to make sure that none of them are crying or climbing or doing crazy stuff in the house. And, you know, because we chose that we were going to homeschool, there was an even bigger burden on her. And on top of that, I was basically requiring her to love me more and to give me better sex. And do you understand how insane that is? So we started understanding that actually unburdening her was the key. So I began to unburden my wife, meaning I took all of the blame, all of it. If anything went wrong in her life or in her everyday whatever, and I was gone from the house, it would still be my fault if something were to happen. And in that way, she could blame me every single time, and I could just take it, and if it was not my fault, I could just siphon it away into nothingness, but at least then it wasn't her fault, and I could embrace her, and I could make sure that she felt grounded, and everything was wonderful again. So because I began to take the blame, and it was all my fault, I began to massively unburden her as much as I possibly could. I began to do the dishes every single day. I began to order takeaway so she didn't have to cook as much. I began to be okay with the house being a mess. I began to lower our expectations for what our sexual experiences were like. I basically unburdened her as much as I possibly could. And did that work? Did it help? Well, yes, of course it helped in terms of unburdening her. And did our relationship improve? Yes, absolutely, because I was taking the blame, I was doing everything, and it was all my fault. However, was she turned on more? Was there passion in our relationship? Not at all. What you'll know if you really study this stuff out is you will understand that women love jerks. Okay? Women love guys that blame them. Understand this. This is just because of one-on-one monogamy. And why is that? It's because women are turned on by those that have more power than them. This is why all the guys in high school and college can be rude to a girl and he's the one who gets her. Like, what's up with that? That's literally crazy. It literally is. From a man's standpoint, it's like, we like a girl that's nice to us and who wants to be with us. But the girls, they like guys that are rude to them and pull their hair and basically puts their hand in their face and makes fun of them and stuff like that. Now, obviously, I'm taking it to the extreme. But as long as the guy also shows some love and some appreciation for the girl, and then he rejects her and blames her and gets upset with her sometimes, she's going to be more into that type of relationship than a guy who's like always doing everything for her and making sure that she's happy and that her well-being is taken care of and puts her on a pedestal. I know you know that sucks from your point of view too, because you would love to have someone who loves you and appreciates you and does everything for you, except for the fact that you will not be turned on by it, unless the guy who's doing it already has intense amounts of power over you somehow. You know I'm right about this. And that's exactly what happened in our marriage. I did all of those things, no passion, no nothing. But we became best friends. And you know what? After 10 years of marriage, I'd rather be the guy that comes in once in a while, let's say a couple of hours a night, basically gives her the passionate lovemaking that she desires from a guy that's mysterious, that's not around all the time, that doesn't put her on a pedestal, and then I depart again. That's what I would want our life to look like. That would be the masculine thing to do. However, how would that put her in the situation with 3 kids, with the house that needs taken care of, with the dishes that need to be done, with the cleaning that has to be done, and basically being lonely all of the time, having no one to be with other than with her girlfriends? But if she is with her girlfriends, who's going to take care of the kids? Now, we did choose the harder road because we are homeschooling our kids. But at the same time, a family should be able to handle whatever the family needs to handle without outside help. And one-on-one monogamy did not allow that to happen at all. Not only that, but I, as the best husband in the world, don't want to be the guy who's disrespectful and who's rude to my wife for the rest of my life. But that's usually what happens. You can see older couples. The only reason why they love each other so much and they have a great relationship is because the guy teases her and is rude to her sometimes and makes sure that he always has the edge. He always has the power in the relationship, so that the woman has to take the blame and fix the relationship, and now she feels, okay, I'm with a high value man, or at least someone that is higher value than I am. Her self-esteem is derived directly from the value of the man that she's with. And if the man is low value because she knows that she has more power than him, but she is low value, then he must be even lower value. And this is how it works in a woman's brain. Not only this, but the kids need our focus and attention. And one woman is not enough if you have more than one child. Literally. One woman cannot give the attention to all 3 kids, especially if they're homeschooled, and she cannot do the dishes, do the cleaning, make sure that she's on top of all the other hobbies and talents that she also desires to have in her life, and manage to be in someone else's life at the same time in terms of having girlfriends herself. The girlfriends also have their own problems if they're our age and have their own kids. You know, so for her to use karma in terms of giving there as well, in order for her to receive what she needs back from them, and then she gives everywhere else, and then I come home and I want to have sex, I have to restrain myself because I know how tired she is. Do you understand? This is one-on-one monogamy. It sucks. This is the kind of thing where you're like, life is hard, and then you die. What kind of lifestyle is this? However, look at the option. As a 45-year-old or 50-year-old or 55-year-old, do you want to be still sleeping around with random jerks and dudes that basically don't have their life together enough to propose to you and be with you long term? The leftovers of the market. No. You want a high value man, but the way that you capture a high value man is to be able to offer him that which he desires from a relationship. But the problem is that the moment you get kids, you will no longer be able to contribute to the relationship what he thought he could get from you. Because it's simply just too damn hard to be a woman. If you strive to have it all, you'll have to be a superwoman. And if you're going to be a superwoman, guess what? You're going to be running in the opposite direction of where femininity is. And when you become masculine, the automatic tendency is for the man to be feminine. And if he's feminine, he's not going to do that which your heart requires for you to be happy. The more masculine you are, the more masculine your friends are going to be as well. Meaning they're not going to be nurturing and they're going to be in survival mode themselves. Do you see how one-on-one monogamy is what created all of this? This is why every family is a dysfunctional family, no matter how happy they look on their Instagram page or Facebook page. What happens within the four walls of people's own homes is craziness, okay? Where the man is running away in his man cave, while the woman is stressed out because of the problems of the kids who are neglected and don't have enough attention and are struggling at school or in their activities. And the woman blames the man because she is supposed to blame him. This is all his fault. And yet the man is not being rewarded for the efforts that he's putting in terms of providing and basically trying to do his best to make this work. Eventually the kids do grow up. Yes, life becomes simpler, and finally now they have the nest to themselves, and if they put in the effort, the man and the woman can eventually fall in love again because they don't have any problems. The woman ends up being submissive and feminine and basically helps the man to feel like a man. And now the in-love emotions start beginning again. But man, you had to wait until you're 55 or 60 to get to that point? Oh my gosh. What about the 30 years of life where you could have enjoyed that companionship, but also had a passion in your relationship without the anger, without the blame, without the yelling, without having the threats of throwing stuff at each other? The only way that we figured out how you can be in love, infatuated, and blind, which is a good thing when you found the right guy, is what we call 3 Girls in Love. I have tons of material on the Girls of High Value channel about this concept. 3 Girls in Love. This is when 3 women choose each other and collectively as BFFs, best friends forever, create a union where they together select a high value man with the help of their families or those that they trust. Once they found the right guy, they make sure that he has his financial foundation in place where he can provide for all 3 of these women and exponentially provides for them luxuriously. These women do not have to work. These women can enjoy being able to take care of the home, to take care of the kids, and they can be homeschooled. And the dishes will be done, and it will be clean, and everyone will be wholesome and beautiful. And then they also reward the man for his efforts that he's putting in, basically exponentially increasing his finances through his businesses in order to provide for this large family. If there's family planning where they're making sure that they space the kids and make sure that they don't have more than 2 or 3 kids per woman, this will create the most amazing family structure that you could ever have. Everything that I've spoken about in these 2 videos, I guess it became, will be solved in that type of union. And then you're like wondering, yeah, but what about the jealousy and what about the insecurities and what about all of that? Will be fixed. And it's way easier to fix that, okay, and solve that over time. It's just going to be tricky in the beginning, and then eventually everyone will enjoy and understand how everything works, and then they can actually be in love forever. It's way better to have that than try to solve it all on your own in one-on-one monogamy, and the woman has to be blamed most of the time if she ever wants to have passion in her life ever again. Unless she divorces the guy and then tries it again in a system that doesn't work, one-on-one monogamy, to try this entire process once again. Do you see how much waste is happening? Do you understand how much love women could have in the world? How much abundance the man could create if he could actually work 10 to 12 hours every single day, which is what he wants to do anyway, and develop power and confidence and skill and expertise in what he does as a leader, and then come home and bring all of this money back home so you can travel, so you can have a luxury, so you can have all the newest gadgets and everything that your heart desires to make life a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more nicer, and then also have the extra time and energy available to go out there and help other people and help worthwhile causes of, solving the global warming problem, or figuring out how we can actually help humans live forever, or how to help humans travel to outer space and create colonies. All of these things, everything can be solved, everything has a solution, but the way we're practicing one-on-one monogamy is good. I'm happily married and so is my wife and we're best friends. But being able to create 3 girls in love in the system that I speak about on this channel will revolutionize everything. I'm fired up for you to have found this movement at this point in time in your life. This is the beginning. We've got 153 subscribers, and you're part of it right now. I'm excited for this movement. I'm excited for these channels, the Girls of High Value channel, the Men of High Value channel. Make sure you go on Instagram and follow at 3 Girls in Love, 3 as a digit, 3 Girls in Love, and you can participate on this journey and be part of it with us. This is the Girls of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you in the next video.